Chapter 5 Staying Healthy. When I was 7, my grandmother Ginger, my dad's mom, asked me what I want for my 8th birthday, which was then a couple weeks away. I said I wanted her to quit smoking. I'd recently read every Beverly Cleary book I could find in the 2 bookstores in Little Rock's Park Plaza Mall and the library near where my mom and I went to church. Ramona Quimby, one of Beverly Cleary's main characters, quickly became one of my heroines. In one book, Ramona launches a campaign to get her dad to quit smoking. I was prepared to launch a similar campaign if Ginger, my grandma preferred Ginger to Grandma, had said she couldn't or wouldn't quit. Thankfully, she said she would try, and she more than tried. She succeeded. When she got sick with breast cancer a couple years later, her doctors told her she had a better prognosis because she had already quit smoking before she got sick. I don't know how much longer she lived because she had stopped smoking, but even one extra day made her gift to me on my 8th birthday the best birthday gift ever. If you just looked at news headlines, you might think most people in the United States die of cancer or maybe in horrible car crashes. You might also think people in the developing world die of HIV/AIDS or, in 2014, maybe of Ebola. And sadly, people do die in car crashes and of cancer in the US every year, and more than 11,000 people have died of Ebola in the most recent outbreak as of May 2015. As awful as those all are, they are not the main things people die of around the world. The leading causes of death in the United States and in all but the poorest countries on Earth are heart-related. In 2012, cardiovascular diseases, or diseases of the heart and circulatory system, took the lives of 3 out of every 10 people who passed away around the world. The same year, more people died from cancer than from HIV/AIDS, TB, tuberculosis, and malaria combined. This is not to trivialize infectious diseases. As we'll see in the next 2 chapters, if left unaddressed, infectious diseases can kill millions of people very quickly. Rather, recognizing how deadly heart disease is helps us be aware of all the risks we face wherever we live so that we can better protect ourselves and our communities. This chapter focuses on what are known as non-communicable diseases, sometimes called NCDs for short. These include heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, diseases that you don't catch from another person the same way you catch a cold or the flu. The term non-communicable disease is a mouthful to say, and also not quite accurate. There are some viruses that increase cancer risks, and there are some behaviors or habits that increase the risk of heart disease or cancer that we do arguably catch from our family and friends, meaning we're more likely to do things like smoke cigarettes if our friends and family already do them. You may have family members and friends, like I do, who have had heart disease, diabetes, or cancer. You may have lost a loved one to one of those diseases, as I have. My grandmother Ginger died of breast cancer, and my mom's dad, who I called Pop Pop, had diabetes and died after suffering a stroke. I miss them and wish they, as well as my grandma Dorothy and Ginger's husband Dick, all had lived long enough to meet their great-granddaughter, Charlotte. They tried to make the best decisions they could about being healthy based on what they knew at the time. When Ginger started smoking as a young woman in 1940, she didn't know how bad smoking was for her lungs or her health. Nobody really did. When my Pop was diagnosed with diabetes, he started eating a much healthier diet, but he hadn't known how much of what he ate before was bad for him. What we now know is that staying heart healthy can help us avoid heart disease and minimize our risk for getting cancer or diabetes. Being heart healthy can help us all lead healthier and longer lives. You may have heard the saying, knowing is half the battle. It's how G.I. Joe cartoons would end in the 1980s when I was watching them. It means you have to know what to do, but then you actually have to do it. But doing it in heart health is often hard, particularly for people living in or near poverty. Families and communities, schools and charities, the government and private companies all have a role to play in helping heart health be an easy, affordable, and even fun choice for everyone, particularly for kids. We'll talk more about what that means later in the chapter.